You're dancing. I'm not dancing today, but you're dancing. Good afternoon, folks. Hope you're all well. Hope everybody out there is well. If you're watching, please drop us a comment in the comments box, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. We would love to hear from you. Just say hi and where you're shouting in from. We would love to hear from you. I am here with the man, the myth, the legend, and if you've watched his Instagram channel, seeing his cardio in the garden series. The absolute monster that is Mr. Cuddy Cudworth. Good afternoon, Cuddy, my friend. How are you?
I am very well. That was a very big introduction. And I am working out on, so I'm not losing weight, I'm losing fat. That's the goal.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I'm trying to get rid of my tits and belly. That's the hashtag, tits and belly.
Nice.
So the garden cardio, the garden cardio is when we were in lockdown, I got loads of tires. I think I've told you this story. I don't have to know on the radio, but I got loads of tires, and I've just started using them again because I need to do some extra cardio. Even though I know that walking is the best thing, but I don't walk, and I know I've got to start walking. I've got to start putting a 45-minute walk into my program. That's the only thing I'm missing out on because everything else is going pretty well. Welcome to the show, and welcome to my co-host, the mentor, the one, the only. There is no other. The Grandmaster. Graham Nichols.
Grandmaster. I thought you were going to say Grandmaster Flash then. Now there's a blast from the past. We were just talking about blasts from the past with Mork and Mindy. If all of you out there are probably too young to remember Mork and Mindy, but Cuddy and I are men of a certain age, and that means that we remember Mork and Mindy. So what are we talking about today, my friend?
Well, today is why do I care what others think of me so much and how to stop caring.
Nice.
Now, the reason I sent you that message saying, look, I think this has got to be a really valuable tool because this shows up a lot, and this will play havoc on your mental health. It's one of those thought viruses that we have that are a virus to the computer, which is the brain, and it comes back to Locus of Control. I get that, but if you don't know who you are, you're going to struggle with what others think about you. And if you're the kind of person that gets emotionally triggered by a lot of things, there will be a seed of thought within yourself that when somebody says something to you, subconsciously you'll be thinking, I think they're right. I think they're right. That's why it's triggered me. So we've got to be curious with those triggers. We don't want to, like we've mentioned it before, you've got to feel it to heal it, right, Graham? You've got to feel it to heal it. You've got to bring it in, explore it, and get past it. But the reason I picked this is my last 3 clients that I've been working with, this genuinely was turning up in their life, and it was absolutely controlling and consuming everything about them. That's why I wanted to talk about this, Graham.
Absolutely. And I think that there's 2 angles to this. I was thinking about this earlier today as I'm prepping for the show today. There's 2 angles to this. The first angle is what you've just said about you talk to people and you get people's response, and then you think about what their response is and how they might be thinking about it and all that sort of stuff. But the other side of it is we as human beings have this wonderful, wonderful way of presuming that we know what other people are thinking. And that's the other side of it. Yeah, exactly. Mind reading. It's we have this wonderful thing about I'm going to do this. Actually, no, I'm not because so and so will think this of me. Or what will so and so think? What will my family think? What will my friends think of me? Oh, well, they'll probably think I'm useless, or they'll probably think I'm a loser, or they'll probably think I'm not good enough, or they'll probably think I'm not. We have this wonderful way about us. So there are 2 distinct areas to what we're talking about today, isn't there? There's the area of we pay attention to other people, what they actually say, and then we kind of make the decision on what they say rather than what we think. And then there's the area of we try and presume what others say. We try and mind read what they're going to say, what they think. And hey, been there, done that, got the T-shirt, been on the holiday, been to the rock show, the whole kit and caboodle. I've done that. I did it for years. My best friend of a few years ago, who I knew for 20 years, and fortunately he passed a few years ago, but all the time when I wanted to do different stuff, I would always think, what will Mark think of this? What will he think of me doing this and that sort of stuff? And for some reason, I always had it in my mind that he wouldn't like it. He wouldn't like me doing it. He wouldn't like me doing whatever. And that somehow I would lose his friendship or I'd lose the connection between us. And I think that's what it comes down to. I think it comes down to that fear of loss of connection with somebody, or loss of love with somebody, or loss of friendship with somebody, or loss of face with people. And no matter what I did, it would always be there until the day that me and him were just sat around his having a coffee. And I said to him, I got this idea about doing this, this, and this. What do you think about it? And he just went, that sounds fantastic. Whatever you want to do, coffee. And he just poured out, it sounds fantastic. I said, you know what? I've had this idea for about the last 2.5, maybe 3 years. And I haven't done it because I thought you wouldn't like it. He went, you bleeping what? He said, why wouldn't I like it? If you want to go and do something, you go and do it, and you've got my full support, whatever I can do to help you. And the truth is that it was my mind that was creating all that fear and that rubbish behind, and all the time he would have supported me through it. And I think that's what people do.
Yes, that is a big part of it. Then what we have to go into is, why do we care what others think about? That's the biggest part. Now, as we're growing up, we're modeling things around us. So we're modeling, we grow attachments to parents, to family, to friends, and we start caring about what they say, because we don't want to disappoint. That fear of not being good enough, that little seed all the way down, pushed all the way down in the bottom of the subconscious mind, fear of not being good enough. We don't want to disappoint. That's the exact same fear that you had with your friend. Absolutely. Didn't want to disappoint. Absolutely. Now that fear, and I'll always talk about it from the subconscious mind, any fear you have pushes you back. Just it's like bubble wrap. I'm going to protect you. My job is to protect you. The subconscious mind, such a powerful thing, needs to protect you. So the most common thing is for people who care what others think of them is because they do not know who and what they are. And they place far too much importance on what other people say instead of about themselves. And that's a not worthy kind of instance. Isn't that right, Graham?
It is, absolutely. It is that. Well, it's kind of a mixture of both. It's the not worthy stroke deserving, or it's the not good enough, because we always want to stay connected to those around us, and we have this fear that we'll lose love or lose connection or disappoint them, or in some way they won't like us because of what we might want to do. And we want to be approved. As human beings, we want approval from other people, particularly obviously the people who we love and care about.
Yeah.
So if we're risking losing that approval, if they say to us, "Oh, I'm not sure you could do that," or one of the best ones I've ever heard, and I'm sure many other people, particularly who start their own business, when are you going to get a real job? I've heard that so many times.
That was from your parents, right? That was from your parents.
It absolutely was from my parents. When are you going to go and get a real job? That's not a real job. And I'm fortunate these days that I have the understanding of myself enough that I can just flick that off and just, whatever you're going to say. Many people.
I didn't want to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Still try and get my mother's approval. Still. Yeah, and I told her, "Oh, I'm a host of a radio show." "Oh, that's good, love." I'm like, "No, Mum, I'm going to be hosting a radio show." "Oh, that's good, love." Nothing. Total blank. I'm like, "Mum, I'm telling you some really good stuff."
It's like, "Mum, I've turned up. Look at my bank account. I've got £5 million in there." That's lovely. That's lovely. I haven't got £5 million. I'd like to put that out. That was just an example. But yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks. Okay, what do I need to do for But we do that. We don't just do that with our parents. Though. We do it with the rest of our family. We do it with our friends. Sometimes we even do it with people we don't know. We look for approval with the people we don't know. You go to a work meeting or something like that, and there's somebody new in the room, and you have to get up and do a presentation or something. You're looking for the approval of the guy who's sat right at the other end of the table or right at the back of the room, who you don't know, because you want his approval. And afterwards, you walk up and go, "So, it's nice to meet you, such and such. What did you think of the presentation?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was all right." And you go, "Oh." And that's it, you're done, because you care so much about what other people think. Unless you figure out who you are, and then you figure out that the only person's approval you need is your own. That's it. When you get to the point of having your own approval, you don't need anybody else's.
Yes. So why is it not easy for people to do that?
Because we are, as a society, in my humble opinion, of course, we are as a society.
Humble opinion.
It is a humble opinion. As a society, I think we are very outwardly focused instead of inwardly focused. You know, particularly with the advent of social media, just everybody's trying to show off to other people this whole stuff about putting filters on your photos and oh, don't I look good, and
Oh my
having a,
God, the
you know,
filters are atrocious, Graham.
yeah.
Oh, you're going to get me on a tangent now. I didn't realize
Settle
how
in,
bad.
folks. Here we go.
I did not look. We are of a certain age. I'm 44. I don't understand filters. I didn't understand filters on Snap unless you've got like a bunny nose and bunny ears. I understood that was a filter, but I mean, there's some ladies who are coming out and saying, actually, these filters are not fair. Look, this is me with a filter. This is me without the filter. I am like, are you at? That's not even the same person. There's like a 20 years age gap between the filter, and you just don't know it's a filter.
No.
And I've seen things, and sometimes when they're talking to you, and then you realize you get a little bag under their eye, I'm like, oh, filter smudged, filter smudged. Oh my God, Graham!
I've got to be honest, and this takes me back. This is before COVID hit, so this was about 2019. I'd seen this picture, and like you, I didn't really get filters. You're 44, I'm 48, pushing 49 at the end of this year, and the whole thing, I didn't get. So I saw this picture of a friend of mine and Paula's online, and I thought, oh, she looks good. She's obviously feeling well and stuff like that. It didn't occur to me. About a week later, I was walking through town and she walked up to me and she went, "Hi, Grav," and I went, "Jesus Christ, what happened to you?"
Oh no, no!
She's like, "What?" I said, "Well, I saw a picture of you the other day." And of course, at that point, my brain's going, "Shut up, Graham! Shut up, Graham!" But it's people are so concerned about what other people will think of them that they start putting filters on their pictures on bloody social media. That's an outwardly facing society, isn't it? And that's why people care so much about what we think. People put the good parts of their lives on social media as if it's that they're living the most wonderful life. But you go up and talk to them, go, "How's it going?" They go, "Oh God, oh, I could tell you all these stories and all that." You go, well, hang on a minute. When I saw you on social media the other day, you were living your best life ever. But that's what we do. That's what people are doing.
I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, that somebody said, "Oh, I've got a friend who's a hypnotherapist who's all positivity and all this." They went, "If you actually read their social media," by the way, I don't know this hypnotherapist, but supposedly the conversations were, "This never works for me. This is an absolute nightmare. This is messed up. Why is my life so miserable?" And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go and see that hypnotherapist, am I? Absolutely not. Unbelievable. Absolutely shocking. Right. So deep diving, and I know it comes down to key decisions. I know that's a big part of it, that a certain part of what along our life we do seek that approval of others. I always have this question with, what is your belief about somebody who is confident and doing well in life? Because that's, oh, look at that cocky person saying, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." Where does that come from? That's a really huge question, because that pops up for a lot of people. Oh, look at this person living their best life. Look at me, look at me. That kind of syndrome, because that creates a story and a meaning, doesn't it, with the other person, of judgment.
It does, but I think that kind of reaction comes from a lack of whatever that is in ourselves. If somebody has that reaction, to me, it just screams that they are lacking in that area in themselves, and would, instead of investing in themselves and trying to figure out that in themselves, they would rather try and tear somebody else down. When we look at one of our basic human emotional needs is significance or importance or something along those lines, and we can get our basic human emotional needs in two ways. We can get them positively or negatively. The positive way in that situation would be to go out, to take some courses, to read some books, to invest in ourselves and become, you use the example of confidence there, to become more confident ourselves and live a more confident, happy, general life. That's the positive way. The negative way is to try and tear somebody down so that they're at your level or below, which means that you're as significant as them all of a sudden because you're tearing them down. And I know that we all know people like that. We all know people who will go out and help themselves, who will go out and move forward, who will learn, who will say, yeah, I need to be better in that area of my life. I'm going to go do that. But I bet we all know people as well who like to tear other people down. Oh, look what she said. Look what he did. Oh, yeah, they're doing really well, but I bet their life sucks and all this sort of stuff. We all know people like that. And that's where it comes from, because they're missing something in their own lives. But rather than looking internally, it's easier to tear somebody else down from the outside.
Yes, and that's jealousy and judgment, the double J's, isn't it? Which turns up. It's turned up in my life in the past. I'm very aware of when I've done that recently. When something pops up and triggers me, I'm like, well, that's clearly something that I want, because I understand that now, and I'm like, no, well, that's something I want. I'm not going to pull that person down. I'm going to use that as a goal for something that I would like, and that's the comparison jails that we get ourselves into.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a negative side to the comparison jail, and then there's a positive side to the comparison jail. And I do this a lot with the comparison but why is it we don't know that? To this day, I'm still like, how is it that we're not aware of? Why are these things not? Maybe they are taught in schools. I'm not getting back up because we've not been at school for 20 years. So maybe there is a place now where these things are taught in school, but people are still coming away from school, and it does seem maybe a bit of an overgeneralization, but there is a lot of young people with higher anxiety, higher stress levels, and are put into therapies very quickly to try and resolve, and it starts creating that mindset of lack and broken and need fixing, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you now that it's still not taught in school. This sort of general life skill still isn't taught in school. Hi, Veronica. Hi. I think you have a restriction.
I think it's on. I think she might got kicked from Facebook because she's a rebel.
Ah, okay, fair enough. I thought she needed some cream or something. It doesn't get taught in schools. Again, before COVID, my daughter was still at school, and I went to join the Board of Governors as a parent governor. And I've got to be honest. See, Veronica got the joke, even if you didn't, Cuddy. Thanks, Veronica.
I did get the joke. I was like, has he just done an hemorrhoid joke with her guest? Yeah, all right.
And I actually quit the Board of Governors at my daughter's school after about 3 months, because it was absolutely infuriating that this sort of stuff just doesn't get talked about. And every time I brought it up, no, we don't have the money for that. No, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. No, and whether it be to help the teachers out, because the teachers have stressful jobs. I mean, good God, dealing with teenagers every single day and 30 of them at a time, that's a stressful job. But there was no interest in that. There was no interest in teaching the kids general life skills. They would rather teach them calculus, which I get that maths is important, but there are some parts that you could just drop a little way just to give you an hour a week to teach general life skills, whether it be general life skills around money or around thought processes or around emotions or stuff like that. But they don't do it. And I quit. And when I sent the letter in to say I was quitting, I told them why. Because they had no interest in teaching children basic life skills like this. So it doesn't get taught in school. And that is why.
Is that my internet?
No, it's not you. Well, you're still moving.
Am I still moving? You just froze. Yeah. Cena, you might have to let us know if that's my internet or Graham's internet. I'm not 100% sure who was freezing there. Yes, yeah, I didn't know if that was my internet.
Okay.
Cena, just let us know.
I think that's one of the reasons, and I think there are many reasons, but one of the reasons, you're right, that the kids do come out of school with emotional health things. And that's one of the reasons. There are many, many others, but we don't get taught this stuff. What's Veronica commenting now?
Don't know, but it removed my first comment. I am definitely a rebel with my sidekick, Harley, the friendship up, aka Demon. Oh, I love that. Oh, we've been looking at dogs recently, Graham.
Oh.
But we've got a cat that's not our cat, so we're not allowed to get a dog until that cat's passed on.
Okay.
Because it's the cat that's not our cat. True story.
You can have my dog if you want. Believe me, you can have my dog if you want.
So, because we wanted to offer the solution, and I know we're only 20 minutes into the show. We always go off on tangents and things like that. But what I've had to start setting up with my clients, and I know you'll have done it with yourself as well, is comes back to me problem, them problem.
Absolutely.
And that's a really powerful thing. And I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and they came back with, "Oh no, Cuddy, that's not a me problem, that's a them problem." I was like, yes,
yes,
yes. It was the best comeback ever. And I was like, at least we're starting to learn. So what I've had to do with clients, which is really, really powerful, is look, tell me what you think you are. Tell me what you think you are. Positive only. And just say, I am this, I am this, I am this. Give me 3 top level things and then 2 more things. Perfect. I am this, right? Tell me what else you are as well. Well, I'm this. So they've got a list of 5 things, and they'll say, well, I think I'm this, and I think I'm that, and I think I'm this. Now, I'm like, stay there, because that's what you are. Tell me, and I've done this with clients, I've done this, and I'm doing this live online. I know Graham's going to say, no, you're giving away too much. No, the whole premise of this show is to help people. So absolutely. I have literally said, right, tell me what's wrong with that person there. That person you've described, I'm just thinking about one of the clients, she was a lovely lady. Tell me what's wrong with that person there. She went, well, nothing. I went, you said you think you're funny, you think you're caring, you're compassionate for others, you love these things, you love that things. Tell me why you're bothered or consumed about anything else around that little thing, because that's your control. And she sat there and she looked at it and she went, I'm really not a bad person. I went, no, you're not. You're not at all. Nothing wrong with it. I went, right. So you have to keep repeating, because your control is that. That's a you. That's you. There's nothing wrong with that. Once your little monkey mind starts popping up, I always do it. Little elastic band. Flick the elastic band. I don't need to know what they're thinking, because that's what I am. That's giving you the control back on who you are. Once you get lost down that rabbit hole of mind reading, trying to guess what that person, I used to do that. I was really bad for that. Really, really bad for that. It wasn't until I got into cognitive behavioral therapy, as much as that I use it. And that's why I always thought viruses, because that's how I've labeled them. Your brain is the computer and the thought virus. And of course, that's how I've labeled it. So it's really easy to understand. Is you're trying to control things you cannot control. And when you try and control things that you cannot control, how is that going to make you feel? It's going to make you more stressed. It's going to make you more anxious. It's going to make you tired. It's going to make you all these things that you actually can stop feeling by stop trying to control things you have no place trying to control. So if you've already got a belief of I can control this and I can control this, and you realize, actually, I can't control any of that. True story, even using this, because it did trigger my wife, and she doesn't watch the show, so it's absolutely fine. I had a kilt arriving, and it was supposed to arrive today. Then I got a text message saying your kilt's arriving tomorrow, and she was like, "Well, we're going to be late to the pre-party of the wedding." I said, "Well, there's literally nothing I can do about that. They've told us it's coming tomorrow. No control over that. That's the system that's in place." Believe it or not, it's just arrived an hour ago. The text message they sent us was 24. He went, "Oh, I've been told all my people, all my deliveries today." I said, "Oh, we thought you were coming tomorrow." Yeah, we've all had the same text message. Nothing we could control. But we get, and where does that come from, Graham? I'm going to ask you, because I think that's a really important part, is understanding the amount of stuff you cannot control, but yet we still try and control it. That's going to create more stress, more anxiety, and more overwhelm, trying to control the things that are completely out of our control. Where does that come from, that need to be able to control?
I think it's usually, in my humble opinion, usually if we have a need to control stuff outside of us, it's because we don't have control inside of us. That's where I would say it comes from. So if you are, now I know you're generally a happy type guy, you know who you are, you know, you're quite settled with who you are, you know what your values are, you know what your identity is, you know what your beliefs are, you know where your little foibles and, you know, I believe you call it the little bitch me when that shows up. You know who you are. Do you need to control stuff on the outside now that you've got control of your inside?
No.
Absolutely. Before you knew all that, though, before you knew who you were and that, did you feel like you needed to control stuff on the outside?
I don't know if I want to answer this one. I was the worst.
Sure.
It was a look at this is where Monkey Mind came from. I was that person. Still pops up now. I needed to be right. I needed to be right because that value that popped up as a value. If I'm right, then that means I'm more intelligent. So probably was that seed of insecurity. Actually, I don't think I'm that smart. I don't think I'm that intelligent. So I wanted to overcompensate. So I would like to be right instead of being happy. And I think that might be an Oprah Winfrey quote. And I still use that quote when I'm working with clients. Okay, perfect. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Because they're not mutually exclusive. Yeah, it's kind of, well, I'd rather be happy. Okay, you need to let that go then. No, but no, you're trying to validate something within yourself that is lacking. And most people, humble opinion, I might be overgeneralizing, we had this conversation today at a business meeting today. Most people try to negatively confirm the negative mindset that they have. And if they're having bad feelings, they look to prove those feelings correct so they can stay in that depressed instead of trying to prove it wrong because they don't understand that that's what they can do.
And what you've just said there brings us back perfectly. It's like the perfect segue to the title of today's show. You said, what's more important, being right or being happy? When you're thinking about what other people think of you, what's more important? Your life and doing the right thing for your life and being happy, or what they think of you? What's more important? Do you want to have the life and the happy life that you really want, and you know that doing this thing, whatever that thing may be, will lead you to? Or is it more important that you listen to somebody else's opinion? If you think that listening to somebody else's opinion and not doing that thing is the right thing, whereas doing that thing is going to make you happy, that's a choice you have. If you make the choice to listen to what they think is right, you ain't going to be happy. You follow what you believe to be right and towards the life you want, then you can be happy. And it really is that simple of a choice. It's that simple of a choice of, do you want your life or do you want what somebody else tells you to have?
Now, saying how simple that is, it is, and you know I'm coming from a place of expertise on this one, knowing what I did 2 years ago. It's the hardest choice you'll ever make.
Yeah,
it is scary as hell.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the way the business is going right now for Monkey Mind Relaxation. I'm like, when I made that decision 2 years ago, right, I'm going to leave my previous job and I want to be a mind management coach. And I'm going to aim to be the UK's leading mind management coach, of which I've done. And I'm extremely over the moon. It was not easy in any way. It was horrible. There was so much there was so much self-doubt, but I just kept popping up. And this is what I'm going to give to absolutely everyone is I came back to who I am. I am calm. I am resourceful. I am just going to be successful. And when those thoughts, your monkey mind pops up and goes, you're an absolute idiot. The money's going away. You're going to lose the house. I'm like, no, I'm not, because it's never happened in the past. I've always done the right thing. I've always done the right thing. And when I've not done the right thing, I had the right intention. I had the right intention. Might not be in the right thing. I don't struggle with what if thinking anymore because the one word I'm going to give you about what if thinking, and hope somebody can take this away, is no such thing as what if I made the best decision with the information I had at that present moment.
Which is all we can ever do, right?
That's all we can ever do. And that realization of, yes, I'm still going to make mistakes, tag watch, car for you. The intention was the right thing at that point.
Yeah.
I made the best decision I could with the information that I had. And there's nothing outside of that. Some days will be winners, some days won't.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was in a similar position. It's almost 5 years ago now. I was trying to run two businesses. I was trying to be, or not trying to be, but I was a coach, but I was also a business consultant. So I was driving around the country, out for 14, 15 hours a day. And then on the way home, I'd be pulling into lay-bys or or service stations on the phone doing telephone coaching or whatever. At the weekends I was coaching and all this. But what it meant was it was dragging me away from my family every single day. And if you obviously know, Cuddy, but if anybody else out there doesn't know, my wife has a spinal injury. So that's only going to get worse over time. So I needed to make a decision where I wasn't out of the house as much, if at all. I prefer to work from home. But at the time, it wasn't just a case of, okay, drop the business consultancy and the coaching will replace that income, because it wouldn't. As much as I could and did earn from the coaching, because I'd spent so much time building my business consultancy up, I hadn't focused as much on the coaching as I did. I still had clients, but it obviously wasn't a full roster because I was doing the business consulting. So I took the decision to drop the business consulting business and remortgage the house to give me a year to build up both my coaching business and my courses business. Oh man, what a decision! If that had all crashed, the thing that I sit in now wasn't ours. It was the bank would have taken it away.
I want to stay there because I mentioned that story to my wife, and she went, "There is not a chance in the world we are remortgaging the house for your dream of becoming a coach." Don't even have that conversation, because that story, Graham, when I got it from the courses and stuff like that, was like, that Graham did what needed to be done, and he grew a pair so large to be able to do that. Because my wife was like, no more conversation, not me, no, not. And I just remember that story, Graham, and that was a very, very compelling story.
Yeah, and I can assure you, for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks before I mentioned it to Paula, the idea of remortgaging the house and doing that, I was absolutely, I can't tell you how scared I was of mentioning it to her, because even though I knew it would be the right thing for us as a family, and the fact that I'm now at home all the time to look after her when she needs me and stuff like that, I knew at the time that it was scary as hell for me. And I did what I was talking about right at the start of this show. I was mind reading what she was going to say. I was mind reading her going, "Are you out of your damn mind? What the? Not a chance. Are you going to remortgage this house and give yourself a year to build a business and hopefully it will work? No, nay, never, no more. Not a chance." And many words around that I can't possibly broadcast. That's what I was thinking. And then the day I sat down and I finally, grew the pair big enough and took hold of them with both hands and said, "Right, let's have this conversation then." Paula listened and she went, "That scares the hell out of me." I said, "I know, scares the hell out of me as well, but I'm either not in or I'm all in. It's one. I can't be half in on this. I can't be half in at looking after you, because if I keep the business consultancy, I'm going to be out there for 15 hours a day, and that just ain't, that ain't good for either of us." So she sat and she thought about it. She asked me a whole bunch of questions. In the end, she went, "Let's go for it. See what you can do."
Wow.
And that took a pair for her bigger than mine, I think. So that's what we did, and here we sit today, and I'm still working from home, and I'm very fortunate to be doing so. But that whole thing about mind reading what other people say, I was for 3 or 4 weeks, creating that in my mind. I was, driving. I think I was driving up to Wolverhampton at the time, so it's about a 2-hour drive from where I live, and all the way up there and all the way back, I'm running this conversation through my mind with Paula, 100% all the time, and I'm sitting there scared out of my wits because she's gonna let loose, and she never did.
We had that. I remember. We'll just mention what Carrie said. "How are you, Carrie? Recently, my 9-year-old daughter came home and tells me she had another student at school ask her if she was a cool kid. I love her response. She answered them with, 'I might not be to you, but I am to me.'" Mic drop.
That's it. I'm done. Let's go. Show over. That's it. We don't need to talk about anything else. Oh, Carrie, that's amazing. Wow.
Do you know what?
You gave your daughter a huge hug for that. Jeez.
Oh, Carrie.
There you go, Cena. There you go. Good man. Wow.
you know, there is some kids that they're dropping the knowledge. There's one thing going around on TikTok or Reels or Instagram or Facebook Reels, and there's one young boy talking to his mum. There's one young boy, and I don't know who he was referencing, but he'd read a story about, well, this person believed in himself, so you can, mum. This person believed he could do it, and he became president. So if he can do it, you can do it. You just need to believe in yourself like this person did. And he rattles off, and it's the most adorable thing of the young boy believing in himself and telling his mum, you can believe in yourself because this person did. And this person did great things. So there's nothing stopping you doing great things. And it comes from a really young child. And every time it pops up, I'm like, I need to watch that. I need to watch that. Because self-belief is so hard, but it's possible. It's possible. And there's some great quotes. If you believed in Santa, you can believe in yourself for just as long. I love that quote. And I did it the other day in the Monkey Mind Facebook group. And I did, if you believed in the Tooth Fairy, you can believe in yourself just for as long. And I said, sometimes I still put £1 under my pillow just in case. Because I still like to have beliefs in things. Because that's the power of the beliefs. And if you believe you care about yourself more than what other people think of you, you start creating. And it is one of those things because you have to start creating. If the people in your life are not conducive to you believing in yourself and being there for you, you do. And that, Graham, you know, I've had that scenario with family and things like that. You have to move where you have to realize that you can't take them with you.
Yeah.
There's the old saying, isn't it?
There's the old saying, isn't there, that you become the five a reflection of the 5 people that you spend most time with in your life. So if you spend most of your time with 5 people who are negative, who are disempowering, who are always moaning or complaining, guess what you're going to become? Or you choose to go, I know I love these people, but that's not who I want to be. So you have to choose to go and find the right people. And if you choose to go and find the right people, you find the right people are drawn to you. There was a reason, and I still believe this to this day. We were talking about it before the show, how you and I have connected, Cuddy. We didn't know each other.
Yeah,
we live 8-9 hours apart. We've never met before.
Nope.
You connected with me through my courses, and then we got to know each other, and now we're friends. We get on like we're best friends. We've known each other for ever and a day. And that's because we were connected in some way, because we both have a very similar outlook, a very similar mindset. And that's the sort of people I certainly want to talk to. I had remind me to tell you a story about kids. Just a minute, in just a second. My best friend lives down in Cornwall, which again is another 5 or 6 hours from where I live. But he was up in my hometown this week. So on Tuesday, I went and caught up with a coffee with him. And we could sit there for hours, 4, 5, 6 hours, and just talk about anything, whether it be life or business or anything. It's just because we're so connected. That's what we do. And I want to be with those type of people. I don't want to be with the type of people who are negative. And we all know them. We all know the people who are moaning and complaining. If that's not who you want to be, then you have to take the decision to go, okay, I will still know you. I will still connect with you from time to time, but I'm going to spend my time with people who are going to serve me better, who are going to help me to be a better version of myself.
And that's right there is why I'm in that group I'm in on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Because we turn up and we are all positive. We all believe in givers gain, and we get things going for other people in that room. That's the power of that group that I joined.
Absolutely. Now, let me tell you the story about the kids.
Go for it.
Because we were very maligning, teachers and school and kids and that just a few moments ago. So let me tell you this story. This absolutely blew me away. As I went for a coffee with my friend on Tuesday, we sat there in a coffee shop. We got our drinks. We sat down, and in walked these 4 lads who were 13, 14. It's still Easter holidays down here. So they were about 13, 14. They all went up, got their drinks from wherever, and they came and plonked themselves right next to me and my friend. And we're like, oh, please, you know what it's going to be, phones out, screaming, screeching, playing games, all this sort of stuff. And as per our perception, they sat down, they all got their phones and like this. But after about 2 minutes, all the phones went down into their pockets, and one of the lads gets his rucksack off and pulls this box out, and it's still got the cellophane around it, so they've clearly just been and bought it. And I kid you not, they took the cellophane off, opened the box, and tipped a jigsaw out on the table in a coffee shop, and the four of them took to putting this jigsaw together. And for the next hour and a half, they sat there, not touching their phones, not looking at their phones, just having a conversation about putting a jigsaw together. These four lads. And me and my mate sat there going, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in 2022. What the heck's going on? And I swear that's what they did. They had a laugh about it. They were messing about with each other, all four of them putting this jigsaw together without touching their phones for well over an hour and a half. I was blown away. That's just anyway. That's completely off subject, but I just needed to say that.
You've got me because there was, who was it now? I don't know if it was at my dipping group or it was a young. I might have been working with a parent, but the daughter came in, or I can't remember. But this young girl came in and said, It was 2 weeks ago, and I'm in another Facebook group that I knew that affirmations worked better under a certain moon, and that was news to me. I was like, okay, that's it's that far out stuff, but I'm always interested in it. And this little 14-year-old girl came in. Yeah, Cuddy, don't forget, if you're doing your affirmations, you have to do them on the full moon. They're going to be more receptive to affirmations. And it was this 14-year-old girl that was making her affirmations, and I was like, well done. Absolutely well done. She was like, no, I'm going to be this with the power of affirmations. And I was like, brilliant, well done. That was phenomenal. So we talked about that overgeneralization, but there is stuff out there that really younger people are picking up on.
Yeah, and we just have to hope that the more of this stuff that comes out, and I see some great people who are out there coaching parents and coaching kids and doing things like tapping and meditation and mindfulness and that with kids. And we just have to hope that continues to go. Oh, there it is. There's the first one. There's the first one. It's time for his afternoon nap. He's getting old, folks. It's time for his afternoon nap. Bless him. It's gone past 4:30, so he should be.
I stifled a yawn, but it's my nostrils flare, don't they?
It's not just your nostrils flare, your whole face is just... Got to it like that. Yeah, you just have to hope that more people get on board with taking this whole group of information to children, whether it be mindfulness or meditation or tapping or just the thought process and helping kids to understand their thought process. You know, me and my wife were talking about, we're going through some mindset stuff with my daughter at the moment. She's we've just bought her first car. She turns 17 in 6 weeks' time.
Yes.
And she turns 17 in 6 weeks' time. So I've taken her to a little abandoned place that we go for a drive about in. And it was her first lesson on Monday. So I got there and and yeah, Daddy forgot to put his seatbelt on. So when she hit the brake, I hit the window. But my neck still hurts. But putting that to a side, once we'd finished, and she did really well. Bless her, she did really, really well. She was able to, get off the mark and all that sort of stuff. And then on Tuesday morning, I was talking to her about, what she thought she'd done well and all that sort of stuff. And the words that came out of her mouth, I had to stop and think how I'm going to react to it, because she went, yeah, I think the car had more control than I did. And I was like, okay, let's talk about this. But that is a projection of where she's gone through school, and people, again, it's that thing about having control and trying to control stuff. Yes, you can control a car, but the car's never going to be in control of you unless you believe it is. If you believe the car's going to be in control of you, then it's going to be out of control, and I'm going to be, not buying her another new car after she's crashed one. But that's the sort of process that people get into, that something else is in control of them, or in control of their destiny, or in control of their life. And that is what drives people to think about, is somebody else in control of my life? What that person thinks controls how I think, and therefore controls how I act. And that's the shift that needs to happen from, as you called it right at the start, it's called the locus of control. It's about where our focus of control is. Our focus of control is either on everybody around us has control, or we have control of our lives. And that's the truth. And so many people, and I have certain members of my family, just like you, Cuddy, who think this, that life controls them, that life is against them, that life is just happening to them. And life doesn't happen to us unless we allow it to. When we start to take control of us, when we start to go inside and do that journey, then life happens for us and not to us. And that's the biggest journey in life. The biggest journey in life isn't learning how to be a kid and learning how to be an adult and learning how to work and learning how to save money. And that the biggest journey in life is learning who we are and getting comfortable with who we are, making ourselves into the person that we choose to be, because we're not predetermined that we are going to be a certain way. We can come out with stuff from our parents and our growing up and everybody around us when we're growing up, but we can choose if that's who we choose to be. I think I've mentioned it on the show before. When I was about 14, I decided that I didn't want to be like my parents.
Yeah.
I love my parents, absolutely, of course I do, but I didn't want to be like them. They're negative. They don't show a lot of emotion. They think that life's happening to them. They are that sort of person, and I decided I didn't want to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose to be and chose to grow into, and that was a hard journey. It took me down the route of anxiety and depression and stress because I didn't know what I was doing with it, but it brought me to the journey of who I am now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound that arrogance that you sometimes talk about, that some people can see you as arrogance. I'm not arrogant, but I love who I am now.
Yes.
I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination,
No.
but I know who I am in there. In my heart, I know who I am. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know you're exactly the same, right?
Yeah. And that's, I think for the last few minutes as well, I think one of the biggest part of why do I care what others think and how to stop is you have to understand projection. People will project their insecurities onto you. And if you don't understand that someone's projecting, if they're coming from a place of lack, they will have that mean streak in them. I've had it. It's the projection of, I'm not feeling good about myself, so I know we touched on it earlier, I'm going to pull other people down.
Yeah.
And that comes, it's really, really, that's monkey mind. When your monkey mind is lashing out, your monkey mind is saying, well, look at that person. And that comes from a place of insecurity within you.
Yes, it is.
Now, if you don't know and you're not aware of that, you don't understand that other people, if they're labeling you with something. So I had to go through this journey as well. There was always one person, oh, Cuddy, you're so arrogant. And if people keep repeating that, you start believing it. You can't, I'm like, well, I'm not. You forget to go, well, actually, I'm not arrogant. I'm just confident because I've done the work. But if it pops up, and we've talked about this, especially for me, that I sometimes say, oh, was I being arrogant there? So it does pop up. Well, actually, no, there is going to be some time I'm arrogant. I'm a human being. That's going to pop up. That's one of those things. But I know that that's not me at my core. Yes, I can be very confident. And like we said, I've done the work. But a lot of people will project their insecurity on you. And that's when you have to understand without turning around. And that's the hard part, because I'm right, you're wrong. That's the arrogance thing. No, is let them project. You can't stop them projecting. Know who you are and live to that. And if on a bad day, some people are going to say you're X, Y, and Z, you remember that you're not X, Y, and Z. You are who you know you are, which is your ABCs.
Yeah,
and
that's your favorite famous saying is, that's a them problem, not a me problem.
Them problem, not a me problem.
How you react to it, that's a me problem.
Yes.
How I react to it is a me problem. So if I choose to say, yeah, what you say, whatever, I know who I am, that's the right choice. If I choose to either believe what they're saying or even go back and attack them for what they're saying,
yes,
that's a me problem again. But that's the wrong way to deal with it.
Absolutely. 100%. And that premise of it comes back to, and I think I did put this in the course because I was like, do you know what? That's not from a book. That's a Cuddyism, if you like, whatever you want to call it. That's not a me problem. That's a them problem. And remember, before launching that course, I'd started saying, "Oh, I was going to have these conversations with people that like to pull you down," because you see it on social media. There's so many people that like to pull other one down. Now, what's the difference between pulling someone down and having an opinion? Because then there's the premise of on social media they can say, "Oh, this person did this, did that." People are allowed an opinion. You don't have to listen to those opinions. Why do we take on other people's opinions? Because I'm a big believer in you can have that opinion of me. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem. You carry on having that opinion. I had that conversation today with someone in a restaurant, and I could see that the person was getting a little bit annoyed. I'm like, I know, but that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. And she goes, "Why are you so cocky?" I said, "No, I just know who I am. I heard the label that you gave me, and I just because they lashed out. So I know full well Monkey Mind. They lashed out and they went, "Well, I'm going to go through all your social media. I'm going to give you 99 tips how to improve." I'm like, "I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much." And she started raging again. And I'm like, "Why are you raging?" "Well, I was lashing out. I know, but you've just said you're going to go through my social media stuff. Give me 99 things to improve on." "Thank you. I need to improve." Also, so then she's like, "Oh, you're not cocky then?" "No, there's so much I don't know about anything. And I will take that feedback." But why do people, I want to, in the few minutes we've got left, Graham, you might have the answer to this one. The opinions of others, why is that? "Oh, well, you're not on my level. You're not positive." Well, no, people can have an opinion.
I think there's a story that Wayne Dyer tells of him doing a live seminar, and he was stood up on stage, and there were 5,000 people sat in front of him, and one person stood up and started maligning him for whatever he was saying, there, telling him he was wrong, telling him all of this sort of stuff, and he just stood there and he accepted it. And he said, "Thank you very much for your opinion. I really appreciate it. If you'd care to listen to the rest of my talk, please take a seat and you can listen. If not, then the door's back there. Please help yourself." And somebody asked him at the end, "Why did you not get upset at that guy who was, shouting and screaming at you and giving you a hard time?" He said, "Well, the truth is that I'm stood on a stage and there's 5,000 people in front of me. That means there are 5,000 opinions of me, and not one of them is mine." And that's the truth. There can be as many opinions of you as people there are around you, but not one of them is your own. And it's your own opinion that counts. And it really upset people. I think it really upsets people when you don't take on their opinion.
Yes.
Because they take on everybody else's opinion.
Yes.
And that's what's upset them. And that's exactly what you just described. You just described somebody who wanted you to take on their opinion, and you didn't, because you know who you are.
Yes.
And I would imagine that person, whoever they are, takes on everybody else's opinion of who she is.
It was a lovely person, actually. I don't know if they listened. She was a lovely person. I really enjoyed the conversation, but I could see it was rattling up. It was really rattling up. Carrie Malmgren, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one, but you don't need to hear them because sometimes they stink.
So true.
Carrie, I'm sure you've dropped that one before. Not literally.
Yes, I was just thinking the same thing.
But that
was the wrong choice of words, considering she's talking about buttholes and stinking. I think if we were to give a final kind of message behind this, why do I care what others think of me and how can I stop? What would be your final message around how to help people with that?
Know who you are and stick to it. Other people's opinions don't count. You have to know who you are. And while ever you don't know who you are, you will forever be plagued by what other people think about you.
Yeah. I think if I was to offer an addition to that, if you don't know how to find out who you are, and people don't know because we're not taught this stuff in school, if you don't know who you are at your core, find a coach that will help you. That's True. The truth. We all need help at some point. If we're ill, we go to the doctors. If we're that ill, we go to the doctors. Why wouldn't we go to somebody who is an expert in their field to help us in other areas that aren't medical? Why wouldn't we go and seek out the help of others? So that would be my my kind of last thought on that area is if you do want to know who you are, if you want to discover who you are at your core, discover what's really important to you, discover those beliefs that really hold you back. And at the end of the day, all that we've talked about here is about beliefs. When we've talked about fears, that's linked to a belief. When we've talked about others' opinions and whether they're important to you, that's linked to a belief. When we've talked about, if you're good enough in somebody else's eyes or you don't think you're worthy in somebody else, that's all about beliefs. So go to somebody who is an expert in their field and get some help with your beliefs and your values and your identity and balance yourself out. And believe me, the shift will be immense. That's the truth of it. I work with people all the time, and when they get to the point of being balanced and knowing who they are, what's important to them, and having their beliefs aligned with that, the balance is incredible. And I know you're the same, Cuddy, with your clients, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we were talking about the sessions that I literally 4 sessions. 4 sessions. I've been working with clients. I sometimes offer them 6 sessions just in case you've got that little bit of byway, that little bit of breathing space, but 4 sessions. 4 sessions, you will literally unlock your monkey mind, your subconscious mind, so you can start making better conscious decisions. And that's the premise of the course that I did. And it massively helps. And I'll even jump in straight away with the price. It's only £79. And it's a full 6 week. I would say it'll probably take you 2 months to go through the course, because you can't watch everything straight away. You have to watch a video and then you have to think, right, how does that change? Resonate with the questions, go through the questions, and it starts unlocking your little mind and starts giving you a different choice. Then you come back to the course and you watch it. Then there's a 6 week part of the course as well, which absolutely changes you on a neuro-linguistic level, neurological level. It's a phenomenal thing. And we overcomplicate things by saying, oh, it can't be that easy. It actually is easier than we like to think. And that's why I always say, change your thoughts, change your life.
So what's the name of the course?
Change your thoughts, change your life.
And what's the best way people can get hold of it?
They can just join the Facebook group. I keep posting links in there as well. I've been told I'm gonna have to put a link on in my bio in my Instagram. Is that right? That's something I can do now. I think I can post a thing. We all have the right
is there
to
a link?
Go on. We all have a right to an opinion, and advice is always welcome, but the big girl will make choices that are right for her, she hopes. Yes, Veronica!
Nice, Veronica. Very nice.
Sorry, I was going to... Don't say she hopes, say she will.
Yeah. Is there a link to the course on your website?
No, but I think I've been... Right, so you've just mentioned that. I've been given... Samcart have given me a code that I can put onto the website, so I'm going to have to put that into the website. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but the main way at the moment is to join the Monkey Mind Relaxation Facebook group.
Yes,
yeah?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. While we're talking about it, tell us for the last couple of minutes about Monkey Mind Relaxation.
No, Graham, I want to talk about the Priority Academy and the absolute massive value you offer to everybody.
Yeah, but I asked first.
No.
Go on, do 40 seconds. Go.
Right. If you want to change your thoughts so you can change your life and start making your subconscious into the conscious so you can make better decisions and you can overcome anxiety, stress, depression, fear, worry, what if thinking, those thought viruses that cause all these things, and you want to work on yourself and invest in yourself so you can make a better life for yourself. Change your thoughts, change your life, £79.
And join the Monkey Mind Relaxation Facebook group.
Yes. Graham, tell us about the Priority Academy, because it's phenomenal.
So the Priority Academy is there to help you if you want to help yourself. It's also there if you want to go on and help others, if you want to be a life coach, or if you want to do NLP or meditation or mindfulness or CBT or EFT tapping or anything along those lines. If you want to learn any of that to either help yourself or to go on and help others, or even a bit of both, then visit the Priority Academy. It's www.thepriorityacademy.com. You can find all the courses on there. You can join the Facebook group from there. There's a community you can join from there. There's some live courses coming up. There's a live course that comes up that's starting in 2 weeks, which is all about teaching people about their emotional health and emotional well-being and how to help others with that as well. So you can dive on there and have a look at that. The Facebook group's got nearly 20,000 people in it that will help you and support you. And yeah, that's the Priority Academy. And we've got less than 15 seconds. Thanks very much for watching, folks. Veronica, Carrie, it's been great to have you with us. Cuddy, it's been a pleasure as always. Thanks very much, folks. We'll see you.